So with Kiss Unplugged is 15 tracks for 56 minutes. It's a live acoustic album taken from the MTV series, released March 96 by Mercury, produced by Alex Coletti. This performance marked the first time since 1979 that all of the original members of the band were back together on the stage, and it led to the full reunion afterward, which some people do or don't like, depending on how you look at things. Over to you. What did you think of this one? Where does this one rank for you amongst your devotion to Kiss?
It would probably easily be in the top 5. Easily. For a couple of reasons.
Yep.
Performance.
Yeah.
But put that to the side, song selection.
Yeah.
I'm really big on song selection. You got to get that right. If you're going to do acoustic, and that's been my little bit of gripe about Metallica doing the symphony stuff. I don't think they always got the songs right, especially, with the first one. Some songs are already busy enough. Like Battery doesn't need a fucking orchestra on it, it just doesn't. I just thought they picked the right songs.
Yeah.
And they even did some, stuff from Gene's solo album. And, they were very bold with this, knowing, that they had nothing to lose here at this point in time. They're well and truly established.
Yeah.
The band at that point with, the then current band being Eric Singer and Bruce Kulick were just cruising. They had done 2.5 years of touring together, and they were just at an all-time high. And the funny thing is when Peter and Ace do come on, that actually drops a bit.
Yeah.
The level of performance drops a bit. It's not as tight.
Yeah.
It's not as in sync,
Yeah.
But still has a magic or a flavor about it that, sort of lent you back to a yesteryear.
Yeah.
It's probably the last greatest performance they've done. So for Bruce Kulick, but that being his last performance, it's a good way to go out.
Yeah.
He was a flawless guitarist. He was my favourite guitarist in the band anyway. But
I reckon he's got the best chops out of them all. Personally.
I think he can do all the players. That's why, if you needed a Vinnie Vincent flashy thing, he could do that.
Yep.
You needed a more stripped back stuff, he could do the Ace style,
Yep.
So it worked really well. For me, some of the songs that stood out was Every Time I Look at You, which I thought sounds better than Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
This version with the orchestra and that, fucking sounded fantastic,
I liked the strings on that. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was more prominent than the album and stuff like that. And I just think it was just a better version, turned out better.
Really
See You Tonight, which is off Gene's solo album. It's a very stripped back song on his solo album, but it really lent well for this set. A staple right through the 80s up to the early 90s, I Still Love You.
Yeah.
And this absolutely fucking sounds so convincing,
That vocal.
It's just before Paul was, he had another year or two in him, and then after that, it's been all downhill after that. But,
the vocal on this, his vocal stands out across this entire record for mine.
Yeah. I just think the performances right through, the harmonies, everything was just bang on. And one more, A World Without Heroes.
Yeah.
That, again, sounds better than the album, version. So they really stepped it up. They took it seriously. That's what I liked about it. They really wanted to show that they, or shake the tag of being the gimmick band, right through their careers. That's what they've always had, from the haters. And I think this is, well, here, have a listen to this.
Yeah.
Now judge them on songs.
Talent. Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it. I haven't heard in a long time, so I flicked through it today.
Yeah.
Just for a refresher, and I just love the selections. Plastercaster and Coming Home, and songs I haven't actually ever played live. So
Go On Blind worked well on this too.
Yeah. I think Sure Knows Something. Sounds fantastic. So that's the way for me. When you're making an event, and it's going to be a one-off or it's not going to be a tour, you've got to really make it special. And that's where you dig deep and pull out the deep cuts, ironically enough. So, so that's, for me, this is a magical, period of time to sort of close one chapter of the band. And obviously we know what's happened afterwards. So,
Yeah, no, I did enjoy this one a lot. I remember this being a really big deal when it came out, when it all happened. Everyone, it was all over everything. You see the videos that, from the MTV coverage and that. But I never really sat down with this album until doing this, because we've done the Massive Kiss special before and we didn't do it then, and I haven't been able to get back to listen to this one now. So I'm really glad we've finally gotten around to doing it. This is a pleasant surprise. Like, you knew the big songs that, were the ones that were the videos and that they all were done really well. But to hear the whole thing being done as well as it is really cool. I mean, you mentioned when the original members Ace and Peter jump into it. It for me, 2000 Man and Beth and that, they are the weaker sort of moments on here. Like, I get that.
They really are.
I understand the nostalgia and you do appreciate the feel for this, which is really cool. The way it's been produced. I mean, it's going to sound good as for TV, but the way they've captured the vibe with the audience and that, and how real it all sort of feels and how it flows, the warmth of it. When those two songs come in, it captures the vibe of the room, and that's where you sort of get a bit of taste of the magic. That was obviously what motivated what came next afterward. But performance-wise, they're not the strongest moments of the night either. So it's a weird thing. It's definitely the chemistry is there, but the performances were not quite as good. So it was really cool to see that captured in that moment as well. As you get to see the good and the bad of both sides of how that played out, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's history, and so be it. I did appreciate the band's talent a lot more from doing the Kiss special, but hearing them in this moment, you really do get a grasp of not only how good the songs are. They're not complicated, but they're fucking well written. They're catchy, and the performances to go with them are fantastic on this. I think apart from the two songs, the weaker, which is not even that weak, element of this is Gene's lead vocal was never the strongest aspect of this band anyway. But if that's your weakest point from the actual full band part of this thing, that's not a big low. That's still a pretty high bar on this thing. Like you were saying, the harmonies and that were fantastic too. For me, Paul Stanley's vocal across the board was the thing that really leaped out, because he shows just how good he was at his peak of his powers, kind of thing. It was fucking impressive to hear him do it. And like we've covered before in these acoustic ones, there's nowhere to hide. You can't fuck up because you've got no coverage. There's no distorted guitar to sort of give you some cover, which is in the mid-range. You are there. And this is really cool to hear that knocked out of the park. Like I said, the performance is great. There's nothing outrageous in terms of the arrangement, because the songs themselves are pretty simple as it is, but the way the testament of a good song is usually how well it translates from the electric to the acoustic. Yeah. And these songs, all of them, do that really, really well. So that, to me, has always been a benchmark of what makes a good song, is if you can put down the electric, pick up the acoustic, and it still works. And they haven't changed too much about these songs, but they've just transferred beautifully into that setting, which again is a nod to their craftsmanship that they've developed over the years from the start to this point in time. I think with these sorts of ones, it always comes down to your own personal favourites anyway. So, that your favourites generally are going to be ones you really enjoy, unless, like maybe in your case, might be different because you're so much more into this band than I am, for example. I'm much more casual than you are. So I'm going to lean more to the ones that I do know more as standout tracks, because you can sing along with them, you get more into it more easily. But that said, there's not a dud song on here, and everything was really cool. I loved how this was just captured, presented, and the tracks were really good choices too. Even the ones that we know, the deeper cuts, they're really good choices. They worked so well on this from start to finish. I thought this was a standout record, really well done. For me, it's another 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I picked my main standout is I Still Love You, just because of that vocal. That moment on that record is fantastic. But I also picked Domino, because I reckon that transferred really well into the setting. But also Sure Knows Something, because the tones and then the harmonies and the vocals, all sort of stuff, that worked really, really well. But, every time I look at you was another great one. Rock and Roll and I was always fun too. But things like Coming Home to start it was, a good way to sort of come into it. There were no bad things about this. Rock Bottom was another, solid one. Everything was good on this. Like, even like I said, the lowest points for me were 2000 Man and Beth. But even Beth, which is a song that I think, and I've said it before, I think that's a pretty overrated song, on this setting it worked a lot better. Yeah, because it's a stronger setup kind of a thing. It made me want to listen to this version of it much more than the studio version of it. So, everything here is sort of lifted up a peg as well in that regard. So it's really cool. If you haven't checked it out like me, don't be an idiot. Go and give this one a listen, because even if you're not a Kiss fan, I reckon this is enough of an access point for people that have dismissed them to really sort of sit down give them a bit more credit than they've been due from the people like me that have been critical of them in the past. I think well worth the time. So yes, very glad to get around to listening to this one at long last. It's not one I can tick off that never-ending list of albums. You got to get around to at some point or another.
The bucket's very deep. So.
Yeah, it's a never-ending list, that one. But I know there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of thoughts on this album, so you know what to do in the comments. Give us your thoughts on this, please do. I want to hear as many people talk about this album in particular as we can. Let's get a conversation going.